Looking for the best AV receivers under $1,500? Look no further than our selection of the best models available today. From entry-level to top of the line, we have you covered. So why wait? Watch the video and find out what makes our selection so great. In the description box, we have included links. Come on, let's get started. At number 1 is Denon AVR-X2800H 7.2CH receiver. Despite being a part of Sound United for some time, along with sister brand Marantz, Denon has maintained the distinct identity that made them such a fan favorite. While Denon makes a lot of products, their AV receivers are undoubtedly the crown jewel of their product line. We will be taking a closer look at Denon's latest release, the AVR-X2800H, today, to see if there are any new features or upgrades. X-series AV receivers have been waiting for an update since 2020, when the first HDMI 2.1 receivers were released with the dreaded HDMI 2.1 bug. It seems like the time has finally come. Denon recently announced two new models, the AVR-X2800H and the AVR-X3800H, which will be available starting now. Two more models, the AVR-X4700H and the AVR-X3800H, will be available early next year. The AVR-X2800H receiver is a 7.2 channels unit with 95 watts of built-in amplification per channel. It supports the standard by now Dolby Atmos and DTS-X along with the usual virtual and up-mixing tech like Dolby Surround, DTS Neural X, Dolby Atmos Height Virtualization, and DTS Virtual X uses the Odyssey Multi-EQ XD auto calibration system and includes plenty of features like high-resolution audio, HEOS technology, AirPlay 2, voice control, custom integration as well as bi-amp capabilities, multi-room zones, and HDMI 2.1 ports. At first glance, the AVR-X2800H seems awfully similar to the X2700H. However, there's more to it than meets the eye. Let's take a closer look at its specs to see what Denon has changed. Many people are wondering if it's worth it to buy the X2800H over the much cheaper X2700H while they are still in stock. So we will clarify things. If high frame rate gaming is your priority, then the 340Gbps HDMI 2.1 ports of the X2800H will make a difference. Other than this, the Denon AVR-X2800H is an amazing AV receiver that's not worth the higher price. It took everything that was good about the X2700H and added 3 full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports, a refreshed UI, and a minor upgrade to its Wi-Fi module. There are a lot of downsides to the X2800H. First of all, Denon took out all composite and component ports, which may not be to some consumers' liking. Considering the incredible surround sound performance, the huge list of features, and its extensive online functionality, this is a no-brainer. Furthermore, we still don't have a front HDMI port, and the Odyssey Multi-EQ Editor app isn't free, which we consider unacceptable. A refreshed design of both the main unit and the remote would be nice since they have become old over the many years they have been used, while the price is certainly higher than what the X2700H retailed for when it was released. AVR-X2800H is a typical Denon product. Although its looks don't excite you, Denon delivers on its promises. It is definitely worth considering the X2800H if you are looking for an AV receiver with 7.2 channels. At number 2 is Denon AVR-X3800H 9.4CH receiver. AV receivers for both Denon and Marantz brands were announced by Sound United not too long ago, and we got a chance to test out their new Denon AVR-X2800H recently, which was a minor improvement over the 2020 model. In our Denon AVR-X3800H review, we will see the second release of this year by Denon, and based on what we see, this one is a lot more interesting than its predecessor. The AVR-X3700H, a refreshed user interface, and 340Gbps HDMI 2.1 ports were the only changes to the X2800H. In contrast, the X3800H has such a long list of changes and upgrades that it feels like it is a whole new device rather than a yearly release like the X2800H. X3800H is an AV receiver with 9.4 channels of built-in amplification and 11.4 channels of processing capable of 105 watts per channel. A wide range of audio formats and technologies are supported, including Dolby Atmos, DTS-X, a max-enhanced Auro 3D, 360 reality audio, and MPEG-H audio, along with virtual and upmixing technologies such as Dolby Surround, DTS Neural X, DTS Atmos Height Virtualization, and DTS Virtual X. Also included is Odyssey Mult EQ XT32, future upgrades for direct live support, 4 subwoofer outputs, high-resolution audio, EOS technology, AirPlay 2, voice control, custom integration, bi-amping, multi-room zones, Bluetooth audio transmission, advanced preamplifier mode, 6 full 40 Gbps HDMI 2.1 ports, and HDMI upscaling. With so many new and existing features, audio formats, and technologies, it is difficult to write about everything. It seems that Denon really outdid themselves with the X3800H. Even though the X2800H was somewhat disappointing, the X3800H made up for it. Denon's X3700H was already a very impressive release, so you wouldn't expect Denon to be able to add much more to it. But boy, did Denon surprise us. The new AVR X3800H brings everything the X3700H had and added Auro 3D, 360 reality audio, and MPEG-H audio support, direct live with a future update in 2023, 6 full 40 Gbps band with HDMI 2.1 ports, support for 4 independent subwoofers, a new updated user interface with a 1000 type resolution, a preamplifier mode that supports specific channel usage, and a minor Wi-Fi update. Aside from its downsides, we do get a lot more value from this device than what it cost. Many consumers may not be happy to hear that Denon removed all composite and component ports. The front HDMI port is still lacking, and the Odyssey Mult EQ Editor app is not free, which is unacceptable to us. As the remote has become old over the years, its price has gone up in comparison to the retail price of the X3700H. So a refresh of the design would be nice. In comparison to the previous yearly releases offered, the Denon AVR X3800H is definitely an upgrade. It may not be perfect, but no audio devices. Despite the higher retail price, Denon made sure to include so much value to that even the higher retail price does not detract from its value. This is a serious piece of equipment that can definitely add value to your home theater experience. At number 3 is Marantz 8K UHD AVR SR5015. Not without reason, Marantz always had devoted followers. As a result of their commitment to quality, Marantz has created very stellar products with top-quality materials year after year. And even though their products are more expensive than what casual users would normally purchase, they show that Marantz is committed to quality without compromising the product's performance. Although it may be the cheapest unit they offer, the SR5015's build quality, materials used, and internal hardware demonstrate that this is far from a baseline audio product and is aimed at those who seek something more from their home theater. The SR5015 comes with 7 channels of built-in amplification, with 100 watts of power per channel, and comes with a huge list of features including support for Dolby Atmos and DTS X formats, Dolby Surround and DTS Neural X upmixing technologies, as well as Dolby Atmos Height Virtualization and DTS Virtual X virtual technologies, as well as Odyssey Mult EQ audio calibration. It comes with EOS, AirPlay 2, and high-resolution audio, with HDMI 2.1, 8K at 60Hz or 4K at 120Hz resolution pass-through is included this year, along with a set of new technologies such as variable refresh rate, quick media switching, and auto-low latency mode that come with the new port. In order to cover as much ground as possible, let's get started on the new SR5015 right away. The problem with yearly releases is that most of the new features are either cosmetic or very minor. As a result of HDMI 2.1 inclusion along with everything that goes along with it, we would say this year's update was slightly larger. In spite of this, the new protocol does not seem to be going smoothly. Since there seem to be some compatibility issues, will certainly put off many users who are considering purchasing one of the 2020 models. In spite of its rough start with HDMI 2.1, the 2020 SR5015 remains a very capable and amazing AV receiver. As we get Dolby Atmos and DTS X along with Dolby Surround, DTS Neural X, Dolby Atmos Height Virtualization, and DTS Virtual X, the unit is jam-packed with features and functionality. Aside from Odyssey Mult, EQ-XD audio calibration, EOS, and AirPlay 2 multi-room support, voice control, high-resolution audio, streaming online and via USB, and custom installation options, HDMI 2.1 has support for all the new technologies that come with it, including 8K at 60Hz and 4K at 120Hz pass-through, HDR10+, Dynamic HDR, Helm, VRR, QMS, and QFT. The obvious minus is that all new 8K receivers have a problem passing through 4K at 120Hz RGB signals and will certainly make many users think twice before purchasing. Obviously, those who will use the receiver mostly for movies will have no problems whatsoever, but nonetheless it's a problem that shouldn't exist. And when we talk about paying a premium price for the SR5015, it adds salt to injury. We would also like to see Marantz add backlight functionality to their remotes. You're buying a premium product, so having this feature should already be a priority. You lose 2 HDMI inputs, including the highly practical front one. With its total amazing control over all audio elements, its smooth and enveloping sound reproduction, and its fully satisfying functional options, the 2020 SR5015 is one very capable receiver, and you will certainly be satisfied with it. If you are looking for an AV receiver that oozes quality and wants to use it either for movies or music, the Marantz SR5015 should definitely be on your list. At number 4 is Denon AVR-X4700H 8K Ultra HD 9.2 channel AV receiver. Manufacturers of AV receivers made 2020 a notable year with 8K and HDMI 2.1 models on the market. However, the HDMI 2.1 bug that was discovered shortly after created major headaches and left many consumers wondering if the purchase was worthwhile. With the new HDMI 2.1 support, 8K resolution pass-through, 4K at 120 fps, HDR10+, Helm VRR, QMS, and QFT are all included. As for the AVR-X4700H specifically, it has 9.2 channels of amplification and 125 watts of power, giving all gamers a better gaming experience, or at least, that was the plan. With Dolby Atmos, DTS, X, Auro 3D and Max Enhanced, the unit supports virtual and outmixing technologies such as Dolby Surround, DTS Neural, X, Dolby Atmos Height Virtualization, and Dolby Virtual X, as well as the Odyssey Mult EQ-XT3800H auto calibration system, along with high-resolution audio, EOS technology, AirPlay 2, voice control, custom integration, high-amp capabilities, multi-room zones, Bluetooth audio transmission, preamplifier mode, and HDMI upscaling. It is Denon's second 9.2 channel AV receiver, and to be honest, it finds itself in a tough spot not because it is bad, but because surprisingly, it faces a lot of internal competition from its smaller brother, the AVR-X3700H. There have been times when I have heard people question which one to choose and whether the X4700H is worth the extra price. We have mentioned everything in our review, so let's put them all here for a quick comparison so you can figure out if it is worth it. You will get Auro 3D and L32 processing for an extra cost on the X4700H, along with 20 watts of more power per channel for the extra cost. Additionally, you get a second HDMI port, an additional 12-volt trigger port, and one more composite video output. Additionally, Zone 3 is supported and analog to HDMI upscaling is supported, as well as the above. The X4700H features 9.2 channels of built-in amplification with 11.2 channels of processing, HDMI 2.1 support with all its new game-centric features, as well as a variety of online and streaming functions, making it one of the most feature-rich units in its category. In terms of audio quality, you get what you should expect from a Denon product, and we were completely satisfied both in our movie testing as well as in our music session. As for the downsides, well, you guessed the HDMI 2.1 bug comes to mind, and it will plague all AV receivers in 2020. The Sound United HDMI adapter with the SPK618 makes things a bit better in terms of a solution. When you have multiple next-generation gaming consoles, having only one HDMI 2.1 port may be a problem. In addition, we would like to see Odyssey Mult EQ editor provided for free, at least for the more expensive models. And finally, A backlit remote should be provided for such high-profile units, and Denon is still failing to do so. With its full feature set, the Denon AVR-X4700H provides a lot of value as an AV receiver. Having mentioned all the extras you get for the additional cost compared to the X3700H, it is up to you to determine if it's worth it or not. Honestly, it really depends on whether these extras are important for your particular situation because, in terms of audio performance, the unit delivers an amazing surround sound experience, which is typical of Denon products. At number 5 is Denon AVR-X3600H UHD AV receiver. In this Denon AVR-X3600H review, we will be testing one of the multi-channel receivers Denon released in 2019. At first glance, the AVR-X3600H should replace the 2018 AVR-X3800H, which was a 7.2-channel receiver. However, Denon decided to upgrade the number of channels supported to 9.2, which makes the 3600H the first receiver to support full 9.2 channels, and it brings it closer to its bigger brother, the AVR-X4700H, which was not updated in 2019. With this update, the new receiver came much closer in specs than some may think, and you may wonder which one to choose. An external amplifier can extend the AVR-X3600H power to 11.2 watts per channel while supporting 9.2 channels with 105 watts per channel, Dolby Atmos, DTS, X, and a Max Enhanced, a full array of virtual and upmixing technologies, along with a host of other features that include EOS, AirPlay 2, high-resolution audio, voice control, custom integration, wireless capabilities, and eARC and ALM. The new 2019 model is a force to be reckoned with. We are truly taken by surprise by the Denon AVR-X3600H, which isn't just a repackaged version of last year's model with a few new features, but rather a receiver that is in a completely different class from its predecessor. This AV receiver offers the same number of channels as the next-in-line AVR-X4700H and has a feature set that is very similar to that of the AVR-X4500H. Obviously, many will wonder what are the differences between the two, and we are here to clarify things for you. The AVR-X3600H has less power, doesn't support Auro 3D, and has fewer connections. However, it comes with HDCP 2.3 and Dolby Atmos height virtualization, which the AVR-X4700H does not. As far as everything else is concerned, everything else is the same, which shows how close these two units have come, at least until we see a new refresh. As a result of its performance, the AVR-X3600H managed to deliver admirably, and with its 9.2 channels that can be extended to 11.2 with an external amp, it offers plenty of options when it comes to creating a music setup. In addition to supporting Dolby Atmos, DTS, X, and a Max Enhanced content, it also comes with upmixing and virtual technology. It comes with Odyssey Mult EQ XT32, which is the best version of Odyssey, which includes Odyssey Dynamic Volume, Odyssey Dynamic EQ, LFC, and Sub-EQ HD along with streaming and multi-room services as well. It is really hard to come up with anything negative to say about the receiver when it comes to functionality. If you tend to push the unit to extreme levels in very large rooms, it may not be enough juice if you are a power-hungry user. However, the 105 watts should be enough for most situations, and you shouldn't worry about it. Also, we will always oppose the one-time fee for the Odyssey Mult EQ Editor app. If we accept it, we would expect it to be free for the cheaper models since such equipment costs $1,500. As a final note, we would love to see Denon's remote control come with a backlight. To conclude our AVR-X3600H review, we are very enthusiastic about it. With a price tag close to the $1,500 mark, it offers amazing value for money since it has quality, performance, and functionality all bundled together. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like it if you did. If you're new here, click the subscribe button. Wishing you all the best until the next video.